Well, thanks for visiting us this morning at KTALnews.com. I'm meteorologist Josh Morses, and this is your Thursday morning forecast update. Just a preview of what we'll be talking about in the forecast today. We'll be dealing with the summer heat as we wrap up the final days of summer here, and likely going to stay hot and dry through the weekend. Do think the heat will ease up on us as high pressure will break down next week, and impossible we'll maybe see a front come through by next Tuesday or Wednesday. But the big question mark about next week is, are we going to see a tropical system brewing in the Gulf of Mexico, possibly a hurricane? A lot of questions, but it does look increasingly likely that we could see some tropical development in the Gulf late this weekend into next week, and maybe some impacts along the Gulf Coast closer to next weekend. So I will get to that in just a moment. But for today, summer heat back with us as we'll wind up in the low to mid 90s this afternoon. I've not had to show this for about 3 weeks, but we're back in the heat index just above 100 today. There's not a heat advisory, but definitely take it easy outside. If you're kind of mowing the lawn or do anything in the summer heat this afternoon, you can still quickly get some heat related illness, even though we don't have the heat advisory today. And we're just going to be running hot and dry. There's a front that's triggering some storms to the north of us, but the main weather feature for us is this ridge of high pressure that's expanding. Again, that's the warm air coming up from Texas and Mexico, which is really pushing us into the 90s here. This ridge of high pressure will stay fairly strong through Saturday, but this ridge is going to break down late in the weekend and likely allow us to cool down as we get into next week. And there's not much rain in the forecast. That's a problem. We will get another drought update issued today, so I'll be sure to pass that along tomorrow. But we continue to see moderate to severe drought across most of the Arklatex, and I would expect with not much rain over this last week, when the new drought update is issued today, we'll continue to see not only expanding but probably some worsening drought conditions. So we could definitely use some rain here, and may not see some rain until middle or later portions of next week. National Hurricane Center this morning, they have upgraded the potential tropical wave that will be moving out of the Caribbean here to a medium chance of development. So they're really thinking this is going to become maybe a tropical depression, tropical storm at some point. Wanted to get you through the weekend. Again, you can see that strengthening ridge of high pressure. That begins to break down by Monday. So there's some of the cooler air making its way down across the plains. So we should begin to break the heat early next week. But of course, the question mark is where is this storm in the Gulf of Mexico going to be making its way through? A lot of the forecast models take it up towards Louisiana, and then half of them take it over towards Florida. But I would say everybody from Texas to Florida needs to pay attention to this. Nobody knows where this is going right now. Again, once we get into next week, we'll probably have more answers than questions, but there's going to be a lot of uncertainty with this all the way through the upcoming weekend. Again, this front that's coming down middle of next week may help to steer this away from the Arklatex, but if there's changes with the projected timing of the front and maybe how far it will dip south, that could play a role in maybe opening the door for this to make its way in. So again, a lot of features to kind of watch in the weather pattern. Nobody has the answers as of yet, but just something to keep on your radar and definitely follow as we move into next week, as we could see definitely another Gulf storm here as we move through next week. And if it did make landfall, looks like it would be closer to next weekend. So again, for us, we'll likely just stay hot and dry through Sunday. Heat will ease. We are projecting that front to maybe come through middle of the week and cool us a few degrees, maybe just some spotty rain chances Wednesday and Thursday. But again, a lot of uncertainty, I would say, with this forecast beyond Monday. So just make sure you're checking back for updates, and overnight lows here will continue to run in the 60s and 70s.